Last time on the Adventures of Gaia, Pryo and Danus began their search for the beings that sabotaged the Priory's pods. While in the pub, they noticed a man with a UV signature they found on the damaged pods. The pair questioned the man, who claimed he was stealing memories for the Emerald Cabal, and that his partner, Corvo, had all the memories. Unfortunately, they realized too late that the man was simply stalling to regain his strength, and phased out of his restraints. Danus shot him with a stun weapon, but the body floated away into the mist.
Pryo, you feel the cold metal bucket under your hands as the cool mist hits your face. Your hands clench against the edge of the bucket as you go over the last series of events. How could you let him recover mentally? You really should have realized he was just stringing you along to get away. How much of what he told you was true? Danus, you grab the metal cable again and pull so that the bucket you're traveling in keeps moving towards the ground. You pass some floating pieces of rock and dirt, and you tap one. It slowly spins and moves away. It's weird how Gaia has so many strange lands. You've only been away from home for a few days, but you've already seen scorching hot lands, some murder, and now floating islands. Pryo, you watch that chunk of earth that Danus just hit. It spins and moves into the mist and out of your vision. Your last thoughts come back to you. Broken Gaia, broken land, broken people, stealing memories. Then that land seems to come up and embrace you as the bucket hits the ground with a gentle thud.
I disembark.
Okay, you hop out.
I'll follow, of course.
Okay, I look out. I try to find where that guy is in the sky. Do I see him?
It's almost always been what seems like evening here. However, you assume now you're in the true night cycle, as there's layers of mist all throughout. You see little pieces of dirt kind of floating around, rocks. You can't see the sphered home or the sphered bar you just came from. You can't see past that first tier of spheres, never mind the third, fourth, sixth level of them all interconnected with the cables to keep them together with this odd malfunctioning gravity in this land. You don't see his body.
All right.
Every so often you just see far off in what is the Gaia Dome, those little red flickers, which when you were higher up, you knew that was a pixel failing in the sky.
Sky pixels. You know, regular stuff.
Stars.
All right, Pryo scratches the back of his head. He goes, well, the best we got to get this over with, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I go find the High Prioress.
You can easily get there. You walk around that one sphere dome that's attached to the ground where you know are they people if they don't have any memories or drives? You go around it. You see the glow. It's the one thing that seems welcoming and inviting in this dark, misty coolness and maybe your mood. Over top of the priory, you see this symbol in gold. The warm light comes out, and you hear noise inside.
Have I seen that symbol before? Pryo stops.
You think you've seen it here or there, but you can't place it. What's your memory score?
Pryo's memory, such as it is, is currently 80.
It just echoes like so many things do in your mind.
Okay, I try to find Prior Iris.
Okay, you walk in. You hear some murmur of prayer. It's quite quiet compared to when you were there earlier with people eating. You walk into that main room. There's the stage or perhaps place they prophetize from. And off around the corner is that fireplace, and you see her sitting by the fire, looking at a pad. She's the one you can hear praying.
Okay, I wait a couple of respectful paces distant for her to either finish or realize we're waiting.
You look at her strange translucent skin where you can see almost like the pulse of life underneath her, and her large almond solid blue opal eyes don't seem to come up and give you any focus. The crystal that gives off heat is warming up this room nicely. You think people snoring off to the one side where there's the hallway that goes around the sphere.
Pryo goes.
Her thin little mouth kind of smiles. Come.
Okay, Pryo takes down his hood and his goggles.
Yay! She motions. There's these comfy puff chairs that you sat in before when you first met.
Okay, Pryo steps up closer, but doesn't sit in the chair. Says, Prioress, we have some news.
Oh. Have you discovered what has happened?
I believe we have. He looks at Danus. The news isn't good.
She crosses her arms over the pad.
I found one of the men who tampered with your pots. He was a member of a cabal called the Emerald Cabal. If we can believe what he told us, he was hired to, with another being, another guise, and steal the memories of some of your townsfolk.
Please sit.
All right, Pryo reluctantly sits down.
She looks to Danus.
Oh, yeah. Not a problem. But I sit down. Depending on how you feel about this person, there might be a cloud of good news.
Pryo says, sadly, the man was killed in his apprehension.
Where is the body?
In the gravity wells. I suppose it'll turn up at some point.
Gaia does bless us here, as you well know. I'm afraid if he does come back in a birthing chamber, at least right now, he'll be in our care.
A cruel twist of irony.
I am familiar with the Emerald Cabal. Did he... Well, if he is dead, I assume the information was not given freely. So whatever you learned, how much can we trust it?
We have no other information right now to go off of. How well do you know the Emerald Cabal?
I know of them. They're one of the moderate cabals.
Pryo would like to scrutinize her face for any sense of lying.
You go ahead.
29, I make a critical success.
All right.
Oh.
What are you using?
Detective and cognitive empathy.
I know of them. As I mentioned, I once resided in the Ark, and it took me many lifetimes to get here. In that time, you're bound to come across all sorts of beings. My understanding, she leans back, is that the Emerald Cabal deals mostly in information. They're very much for hire, rather than being perhaps a crime syndicate like some of the others.
Do you know any reason, yes, nonchalantly, why they might be interested in the memories of your townsfolk?
It does not make sense.
She doesn't appear to be lying.
There was something that went across her face right before you asked that, actually.
Pryo says, any information here would be appreciated, Prioress.
Of course, I only look to help the beings that are in here and do good works, as I've told you before.
Of that we have no doubt.
One of the benefits of Melissa is that Gaia has blessed it to reroute many lands here. Oddly, we have more than one pod dome.
Oh,
Many of the surrounding lands, what do they call it? The hackers recycling. They recycle to here. So
interesting.
it may not, and I suspect not, have anything to do with the residents of our town. It's much more likely it was a large net being cast. She's not lying.
What'd she call this place?
Beliza.
Should we go check that out and make sure the same damage has that been inspected since we figured out what's going on? No?
Nope, you guys didn't go.
Shall we make a detour before we do some headhunting?
Pryo nods.
And as I mentioned previously, we do not have any hackers or even tinkerers here.
If we find one, we will send them your way. Sound good?
She smiles at you, Danus, warmly. Her
Perfect.
eyes blink. She says, "Thank you."
Pryo goes, yeah, we better check them quick. Does the name Serafina Lee mean anything to you?
If I am not mistaken, she is the leader of the Emerald Cabal. I have heard stories and rumors, but I do not know her.
And I suppose there's no reason that you know of that she would want to do you or anyone here any ill will?
As I've said, the Emerald Cabal is only interested in what they're hired for and what they can sell. The people here are simple. Anyone that lives here now is long forgotten in the Core Lands.
Well then, we do have a lead on the other individual, however sketchy the lead is. We're told his name is Corvo. He's some kind of amphibian android. And he has the memories.
Or at least had. That's where our trail goes for now.
Pryo looks at Dennis and nods. We'll be off to trace them to see if we can find them and find your memories.
I look at him like, oh, is that what we're doing? Like, okay. All right, okay, that makes sense.
Okay,
Yeah.
She says, she puts her hand on the pad, she says, any help you can provide is greatly welcomed. As of right now, we've turned off the pods, and it troubles me to know that they could be of use.
That will leave you without any medical help, except for, of course, your healing magic, the blessings of Gaia.
As you know, we have a small priory here. Gaia will be with us, and, well, whatever happens, happens.
Okay, Pryo stands up.
Oop, I stand up.
She stands as well.
If we can find this Corvo, I will retrieve the memories and bring them back.
She wears her white prioress cassock, and she reaches in and pulls out a small vial. It's got almost matches her eyes in the blue opal liquid. She hands it to you. She says she hands it to Pryo. She says, because you're at a certain amount of mercy without the pods being able to help, and I'm afraid I cannot spare any priors to go with you. Take this. It will help with healing if you are in need.
Pryo bows.
I'm not sure if either of you have the blessings of Gaia for healing. Or if you remember you do. She looks right at you, Pryo.
Seems like the blessings of Gaia are in short supply, sister.
Only if you believe they are. And with that, she turns and heads off to a door around the side.
Okay, Pryo puts it in his pack.
Yeah. Okay, so let me get this straight.
Uh-huh.
objective 1, find the person that has or had the memories, if we can. Side objective, either find someone that can come here to fix the pods, or perhaps, assuming that nothing's wrong with these pods, we could, if it's a quick fix, maybe we could figure out how to do it ourselves. And when we come back, we just, here's the memories, then done and done. Am I missing anything, or is that or do you need to hunt down the cabal? I'm trying to feel out your situation. You're giving me those eyes again. You always give me this face.
All right.
+1, Alec.
Peter chuckles. I think we should check these other pods. If they have been tampered with, and if they have not been tampered with, that'll tell us something. Okay, do we know what these pods are?
Didn't ask. Is a little 3-foot kind of green-skinned creature with 3 black eyes. Walks, it's got a little robe and a little hat. He's walking out with a little glowing crystal.
Okay, Pryo goes down on one knee and says, "Excuse me, my little friend."
Oh. Yep.
We bear you no ill will.
Okay.
We just have a question.
His 3 eyes squint. You see your own reflection. They're solid black.
Can you point us in the direction of the secondary pod healing room?
The Gaia domes. Yep. Out. Left, right, left. Dome.
Perfect. That was left, right, left. Let's do this.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Did someone tell you we were having problems with them? Are you getting in one? Are you planning to transport?
Transport?
In the pod. Go, bye-bye. Are you done here?
Pryo looks at Danus. I'm sorry, I don't know what you mean.
Oh, okay. He puffs his chest. Feels pretty important. Well, then I have information for you. Turns off the little crystal he was looking at, puts in his pocket. The pods. You can get in them and go somewhere else.
Oh? Like where?
Well, anywhere that the other pods allow transport within the pod network.
Oh.
I'm not from here. I just came out for a little getaway. Iris is so nice. And they make good salad. He smiles. He's got tiny little pointed teeth.
Okay. Pryo goes, how do they work?
The transport part?
Yes.
Well, you get in, and you hit transport, and you go to where you're going, and then you wake up, just like as if you were, sleeping or birthing. Ooh. Sometimes, of course, you know all that. Never mind.
Pryo nods.
You hear his little tummy grumble. His 3 eyes just look off.
Well, thank you.
Okay. Good luck. Whatever you're doing. Oh, I was right. I was telling you that the pods are broken, so don't go in them.
The pods in the secondary room.
Well, I don't know. Iris said don't go in the pods. They're broken. So now I have to stay here and I can't get back to work. Darn. Mining is... Anyways, I have to stay here and eat salad.
Oh, darn.
He nods his head. His little hat bounces.
Thank you, friend.
Good luck.
Okay, Pryo goes in the direction the little guys and pointed him towards.
Okay.
Right, left, right. No, it's left, right, left.
Okay, you exit out. You both go this way and go the opposite direction.
No.
Pryo stops, turns around. It's this way.
Okay, yeah.
Do you clip yourselves to the tethers?
Yeah, but definitely now that it's pitch black. Yeah.
Okay. It's a bit off. There's quite a few trees down around it. There's those purple fruits have grown up the side of the actual pod room. It's not as well used and cared for as the one that's right behind the priory. But you do see the pod as you approach and come into it. You see the little strips of light that go around each pod.
Okay, I start to look around.
There's the same, it's almost exactly the same layout as the other pod room. You look through, you see some footprints, which seem odd in the dirt, nowhere near as used as before as the other room. And you find some telltale scratches off to the side in pretty much the same area you saw the last hack in or damage done to the pod. There's scratches up the side of the center column.
I draw a kukri and I go, bonk.
Okay. You pop it out, and yes, you do see some smears of UV. There's no scales or hair or anything here.
Yep.
You can see where the little insert crystal that gathers, apparently, memories, you've been told, has been removed, and there's some wires.
Pryo stands up, looks around.
How's it look?
See for yourself.
I've been down.
You see the same thing.
Let's go after Corvo.
Okay.
It'll give us answers.
Which way is the way that blonde hair, big nose pointed that we should get out?
It was the opposite direction from whence you came, from where you entered. And there's a not as well kept by any stretch of the imagination road, but there's still a path. Those big trees have been cleared. They're much further off to the side.
So, I guess after Corvo then. Okay, he goes in the direction that blonde hair, big nose pointed him.
You guys head out. You head the opposite direction from the last of the warmth of the priory glowing into the darkness. And the one nice thing you do have is these tethers that, assuming they are all connected correctly, in theory will lead you to the door just like they led you to the priory from the initial door. You make your way. Odd talking in the distance, quite a bit comes down above you, seems to bounce around in the mist as you make your way through, and eventually that dies off. You walk for quite some time, a few hours, until you start to see the telltale signs of a door which has another built area around it, like the one that you came through, in addition to the Gaia door, and you can see the Gaia crystal through, and that a similar panel with that rotating scroll that you saw. You assume it has the same warnings that the initial door had.
Pryo approaches it cautiously. He might even send Batty off to take a quick look.
Batty does have a difficult time flying in this low gravity, high gravity. You've been having that issue where suddenly you feel really heavy and then you're quite light.
Okay, even like when I'm really close that I think would be safe, and if I don't think it'd be safe, then I don't send him.
Yeah, you remember that as you got closer, the gravity seemed to function a little better right close to the door. You can't send him off. Okay, he takes flight. He searches around. You see through your goggles what he sees. He notices that the purple fruits on the trees that you were warned about on that screen have a strange glow to them in the thermal.
Is that so?
Mm-hmm.
Inside or on the outside?
Internal
Okay.
to the fruits. And other than that, there's not much to be said. He sees in UV, correct?
He sees UV in thermal and sonar.
And he does see some UVs against that door.
Okay.
This is a purple and orange.
So the purple and orange UV is Corvo's UV, and the yellow UV was the blondie's UV.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Same.
+1 for taking notes, Mr. Detective.
+1. Yay.
It's nice when players take notes,
Okay.
particularly when they're detectives.
That's helpful. Okay. Pryo goes up, he motions to it. It radiates even more for Dennis than it does for Pryo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Danus, you saw it as you both approached. Danus, you see it quite a bit beforehand.
Okay.
Okay, I get into the. I get Batty back down.
Comes back, lands on your shoulder.
Get a little scritch. Then I go inside the. Just want to make sure that the door's not booby trapped in some way before I open it.
+1, good thinking. Nope, seems to be okay.
Okay, and I cautiously. I go. Look at Dennis.
You unhook yourself.
Yeah. I look at Dennis. Hope this doesn't explode. Pull it open.
Okay, you open. You seem to be still with the living.
Okay.
You walk in.
Cautiously stalk in and look around.
Okay, your stomach kind of not quite flips, but settles as almost regular gravity hits in. You see the little crystals around the outside that you saw at the Priory that did the same effect. Doesn't seem to be, again, this way is this route out of the land is not well used. There's dust over everything. That screen is rotating. The same thing about the warning about gravity anomalies, don't eat the purple fruit, but it's covered in dust.
Orange and purple UV on the Gaia crystal of the portal, of the door?
Yes, sir.
How many days ahead of us is he?
It's a bit hard to tell with the effect of the humidity in this particular land, but you would guess at least maybe 5 days, maybe 2.
I'd say
you were having it. Sorry, if you remember, you were having difficulty with that before.
Yep. I'd say he's no more than 5 days ahead. What about you?
It's tough. I try and feel my fingers to see how humid it is. Maybe. That's tough. Well, if we pick up the pace, it won't matter.
Okay. Pryo saves the glower for now. All right. I walk over. Is the crystal locked or?
It's actually pulsating green rather than being a solid green.
I wonder what that's supposed to mean. Yeah, he activates it.
Yep. Green means go.
Pulsating green means what? I can make a left turn when there's no traffic oncoming.
Okay, the door starts to slide open, and it stops for a second, goes back, opens again. As it's doing that, you see that opaqueness, and you can see through to the next land. It's quite it's quite dark. You almost think maybe there's no land there, and then the door finally opens, and you can look in and see that there's 7 huge white, which you imagine are suns, in a black sky.
Weird.
So it sets the land to a really odd kind of bluey, dark, greeny sort of effect. You haven't stepped through yet, of course, but...
Awesome.
Okay, Pryo sticks his pinky through.
You lose... No, you're fine.
I go through. I go through. I'm excited to get to this new place.
Pryo sticks his pinky through. Danus walks.
There's no pods working here, moron. Okay, he follows him.
Okay, you both walk through. It's hot. You're hit from the coolness you were just into this heat that's in here. You look up at the sky, and as I said, it's pitch black. There's no reflection to it, no variation to it, just black, except for these 7 enormous, oddly placed and not in a row, but just randomly throughout the dome suns, and they're producing an intense heat. The UV's a little hard on both your eyes. You both have to kind of blink.
Oh.
Particularly Danus, it hurts. After a few moments, though, you do adjust.
We can breathe? There's atmosphere?
Yeah. Seems
Yay.
to be okay. Yes. Breathing is good. And you see up in the sky, the other thing is you're looking up and kind of adjusting. You see odd constructions flying through passed over those large white suns. You can't look at them for too long because they do hurt, but you see these odd constructions in the sky flying past.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Dennis.
What the hell? Ow.
Batty.
Try to do that cover thing to look.
Yeah. Batty takes off. Dennis, as you look up, you recognize those types of satellites. You have some in your home. They're in the sky. Of course, your sky is much more beautiful at home, but there are all those odd satellites flying. You remember Mother Cade telling you about them and how important they are? Yes, good for us. Good satellites.
Is that all I remember?
Mm-hmm.
How great.
Batty has flown up and is looking around. You welcome, it takes a moment to readjust to feeling heavy, but now you welcome the familiar gravity, and your muscle memory feels better, feels like you could fight and shoot easier.
Okay, does Batty see any dangers in the immediate vicinity?
Not immediately, no. All he sees is lots of this strange, and you're not sure if the land itself is purple, blue, green, or if it's the odd reflections from these lights, and these huge gnarled husks of trees with huge bulbous hard branches, but they have no leaves or no fruit on them. But other than that, he sees heat patterns all over, but nothing alive.
I make a critical on detective. Do I see Corvo's tracks?
You go down and you're looking about. You catch one here or there. The land is kind of hard here, so it's hard to see anything. But you recognize the telltale kick up of a rock here or there. How much did you make detective? You made it by quite a bit. Was it critical?
By a minus 350.
You had a minus 351. No, I'm kidding.
Damn it!
You can tell that he's not walking quickly. The rocks aren't turned in a sharp manner. That's why it was difficult to find, because he just seems to be padding along, and his stride is fairly short.
Okay, then Pryo sets to jog.
I knew this was coming. More weight, more gravity, time to jog. And I just take off.
Okay, back to jogging. You start running. How fast would you like to go?
How uneven is the ground? Because
I'm just doing a mile eating, almost like just between a power walk and a jog, like just not even picking my feet up that much, just kind of really quickly going.
Dennis, what were you asking?
Well, if you said the ground was kind of like uneven a little bit, right?
Yeah.
If it's too uneven, I probably shouldn't jog.
It's not too bad. There are these collections of rocks that are rounded, that stick up out of the pebbly sort of hard ground, but you can make your way around them. They're almost like islands of rock to describe it. And there is a clear sort of road to follow. You do see, as you've been going on, you do see actual Gaia metal, though, exposed. It's almost as if something's been digging around, and you see the metal plating that sticks up, and some odd shards here or there of metal sticking out of the ground. You come upon it first, Pryo.
Okay, what does Batty see?
Batty sees, so he's flying. You go for some time. He sees some coolness off into the distance at the edge of his vision. You've gone about 2 kilometers at this point. You've been running for some time. Dennis, you're getting a little bit tired, but Prio's not pushing it like he was before. And at the edge of his vision, he can see a large cool pattern, which you imagine at this point is some kind of river or perhaps ice, although in this heat, unlikely. It's likely water.
Okay.
Other than that, though, he hasn't seen too much. He sees some UV here and there, and some more of that scratched up area where there's Gaia metal sticking up. It seems to have been rent and torn.
Okay. I can't remember on the different adventures last time we had a rest. Let me know when it's time to take a rest, and Pryo will do that.
It's been some time.
Oh, shucks.
You're actually starting to feel the effect. Danus is actually the one who's probably feeling it more than Pryo right now. And now that you've kicked into jogging, you did eat a lot of cookies, so you're on a cookie high there for a while. But it's the sugar of the sweet ambrosia marshmallow-y type salad and cookies has worn off, and you're starting to crash.
Okay, Danus is starting to slow down.
Yeah.
Okay, I with a 4, I look for a safe place to camp.
As you start looking, you do recognize that Dennis hasn't complained about it too much, even though it is difficult for him to keep up. You find a bit of a pile of rocks off to the side. It's fairly open except for these gnarled trees, and you're still a good kilometer or so away from that water, if cool patch that Batty can see. So you do find a spot that looks relatively safe.
Would it be more comfortable by the river?
It's the same type of land, except that there seems to be water up ahead from what he can see.
There UV?
Yep.
That would maybe creatures are around there?
Most likely.
Okay, then we should camp probably here. It's probably here safer.
Okay.
Okay, Pryo goes off that spot, drops his pack.
Yeah, okay. I'll set down the extra sniper rifle, and then I will kind of sprawl out.
Okay, you put that sniper rifle down. You kind of smile at it. Extra special magical one.
Okay, Pryo sits down. He says, I'll take first guard. You go ahead and get some shut-eye.
Oh, fantastic. I'm already tired. I just kind of roll over and try and let my, resting heart rate kick in.
Okay. It happens fairly quickly. You are quite tired. You think, I wonder how long it's going. And you're out.
Personally envious of that. How nice that would be.
As you drift off to sleep, Dennis, the memories of Mother Cabe come through as you were thinking about her. You see her one giant eye looking at you. Yes, you have to learn how to do robots. Shh. Don't tell anyone. I'm going to teach you. Okay, and that's the last memory you have as you fall asleep.
All right. Pryo waits for Dennis to go to sleep.
Is it going to get weird?
I don't know.
Okay.
Do I need to activate some jazz music?
Pryo puts the kukri down he was sharpening.
Okay.
With a 10, that's a critical with many minuses. He sneaks over to Dennis's form.
Okay. You come up on him.
He checks to see, just to make sure he's sleeping.
This is how the campaign ends.